At the age of 33, Julian Nagelsmann has made headlines by becoming the youngest coach in the history of Bayern Munich. Why and how did this very young coach with his atypical approach find himself at the head of one of the most successful clubs on the old continent? A look at this unpredictable tactician, this leader with a spectacular progression who beats all the records for precocity. Subscribe to Megafoot, the best of football in video. Before becoming a coach, Julian Nagelsmann was a professional player at FC Augsburg under the command of a certain Thomas Tuchel. However, he had to stop his career at the age of 20 after chronic back pain. The German did not give up football, however. His reconversion will be around the round ball. In 2015, with his coaching qualifications in hand, he became the coach of Hoffenheim's reserves. A year later, at the age of 28, Nagelsmann was promoted to head coach of the club. He became the youngest coach in the history of the Bundesliga. At the end of 2017, Nagelsmann led Hoffenheim into the Champions League playoffs for the first time in their history. Unfortunately, he was eliminated by Liverpool. The following season, he was the third in the Bundesliga and qualified the club for the Champions League and became the youngest coach in the competition's history. A year later, Nagelsmann joined RB Leipzig. There, he consolidated the work of his predecessor, Ralf Rangnick. The Red Bull club became one of the strongest in the Bundesliga. At the same time, he continued to break all precociousness records. Youngest coach in history to reach the knockout stage of the Champions League. The youngest coach in history to reach the semi-finals of the competition at the age of 33. Or the first coach to take Leipzig so far in the Champions League. Now recognized, Bayern contacted him for the 2020 to 2021 season to replace Hans-Dieter Flick. The Bavarian club was undergoing an internal upheaval with the transfer of power from Karl-Heinz Rummenigge to Oliver Kahn. The latter insisted on coming to Leipzig in person to recruit the German coach. A Bavarian by birth and a Bayern fan since childhood, the coaching job is a dream come true. With 2 years left on his contract with Leipzig, Nagelsmann has agreed to join Bayern. The deal was worth €25 million for a 5-year contract. In addition to this commitment, the longest ever contract signed by Bayern for a coach, he became the most expensive coach in history. Another record. With his head on his shoulders, he has a singular state of mind, which alone demonstrates all his potential. And while we're on the subject of potential, what is the German style? Julian Nagelsmann is above all a human being with a unique management style. He shows a lot of empathy, an indispensable quality to create a relationship with his players. Very close to them, he manages to find the right balance to keep the distance and maintain the respect that a coach must inspire. Sure of all his qualities, he nevertheless has an ego that can sometimes seem overinflated. No matter, the coach also loves players to show a little extra soul, that little extra that makes his team stand out. Finally, he knows how to be a very good communicator to motivate and protect his troops. Nagelsmann's style also means that his training methods and sessions are always very intensive. The German coach uses all the tools that new technologies and science offer him. With his iPad in hand, he analyzes for hours scientific data that he collects thanks to microchips placed in the players' shoes or shirts. The Bavarian native even uses drones to film his sessions. He installs a giant screen at the edge of the training center pitch to show the elements that need to be improved in the middle of the session. Finally, the German plays on the repetition of exercises to anchor mechanisms in the brain of his players. Intellectually, he wants his players to integrate movements in an almost mechanical way. Nagelsmann also advocates flexibility as a playing philosophy. For him, it's all about pressing. Intense pressure to block the opponent and force them to make a technical mistake. Then, the man who's been nicknamed Baby Marino assumes to be unpredictable. He also wants his team to be flexible. The coach has several game plans in mind. Each one can be adopted to the opponent or the course of the match. In short, he always has a plan B. Nagelsmann relies on complete and versatile players. He wants his players, regardless of their position on the pitch, to be able to apply his playing practices. A perfect example is Nkunku in Leipzig, who plays on the flanks, in support of the striker or even in the heart of the game. At Bayern, with players like Kimmich, Goretzka and even Tolisso, he will find the kind of player he likes so much. Finally, the Naggelsmann method is based on an iron defense and total football. With Leipzig, the young coach has built the best defense in the Bundesliga. For him, the best defense is attack, or rather possession. If the opponent does not have the ball, it is difficult for him to score. Naggelsmann has understood this. He always assumes his principles, imposes his rhythm on the match, and plays very high. Whereas previous teams were struggling and losing points, it was in the finishing. And for the time being, there is no doubt that at Bayern, he has the weapons to compensate for this defect. But where will Naggelsmann stop? One thing is certain. He has already made history, and there is still plenty of time for him to win trophies. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you liked it, please don't hesitate to talk about our channel around you, to like it and to share it. And for you, what other current coach deserves to be talked about? See you soon for a new video. Ciao!